Welcome to Teen Quarantine, personal development training for teenagers that connects the art of acting with critical life skills and self-mastery. Presented by the Deering Acting Studio.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Teen Quarantine. We are super excited to have you guys with us today. So we have our student Dillon Davies coming in today to talk with us. We're going to talk a lot of motivation. We're going to talk about physical limitations, and we're also going to talk about acting. But I got to tell you, before we got set up today, I was in the other room, and I'm hearing Joey and Dillon go back and forth on sports. And this was a show in and of itself, so I decided we got to start this out with that. We got to just give a little energy and watch them go for a second because, man, was that fun. I was just having a good time just watching you guys talk. And so I'm going to give you guys a minute to talk Cardinals, and then we're going to jump right into motivation and talk about your life, Dillon. But hello, Dillon. Why don't you say hi to everybody first? Hello.
Hey, your mic is not working, bud.
Say hi again.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. Awesome. So, yeah, Joey and you were talking some Cardinal stuff, so I thought giving you a second to do that on the show might be a little fun for our audience. So, ready, set, go.
Joey posted something on his story.
Multiple things.
Excited about our first round pick.
Isaiah Simmons.
I DM'd him and said that we're still not going to be good. And then, yeah.
He also said this after we traded for the number one receiver in the whole National Football League, DeAndre Hopkins. I was so hyped about the trade, and he just DM'd me, and he was like, still not going to be good, though. And I'm like, where's the optimism? Where is the optimism? Like, just explain to me how you can call yourself a fan and then just be sad about it. Like, there are big things happening right now.
Yeah, but we don't have that's like our only good player right now besides like Christian Kirk and Larry.
You call Christian Kirk a good player?
Yeah.
He will be, but Kyler Murray's better than Christian Kirk. Look at their stats. Christian Kirk had 3 touchdowns all last season. Love the guy. Arizona born. Like, he's a great kid. But you can't say Christian Kirk's good and then say Kyler Murray's not.
I didn't say that.
You were insinuating it. Listen, there's nobody. You said this beforehand. You said Larry Fitzgerald does not get thrown to by Kyler Murray. And I said, last season, Larry Fitzgerald was double covered, and he has been his whole career. That is a fact. DeAndre Hopkins is now in the valley, which raises the value of Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk because both of them are going to be covered less and by less talented cornerbacks and safeties. Facts. And if there's anybody who loves Larry Fitzgerald, it's the guy who wears him 25-8. I'm physically wearing a Fitzgerald shirt right now.
Yeah, but what about the season after next season? He's not going to be there.
Correct. And you know who takes his spot? DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk.
Yeah, but he's going to be double
Andy
covered,
Isabella,
he's
Hakeem
not
Butler,
good, though.
Keyshawn Butler.
No.
Here's the thing. 3 of our receivers are rookies from last year. So they're going to be very good, or at least they have the potential to be, especially learning under guys like Fitzgerald and Hopkins. But all I'm telling you is the Cardinals went all in. They are going to the playoffs this year, and they are going to try and go to the Super Bowl because Larry Fitzgerald needs a ring. And that is a great storyline. I'm going to stick with it. Our Cardinals are riding high. We made all the right decisions. We got an A+ draft rating from Pro Football Focus. Steve Keim has literally blown all of his haters out of the water. We're going to the Super Bowl. I'm just calling it.
Oh, everybody can try and go to the Super Bowl.
I didn't say try. I said we are going.
He did say that.
Yeah, you can think that, but
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When we make the playoffs, you're gonna say, "Oh, go Cardinals!" But where's the optimism before? You gotta have some faith before we're good.
It's because we're in the best division, and we're not gonna.
All right, let me speak some truth into this. The Rams are going down. They are going downwards. They are going down. I will say it 3 times over. The 49ers got exposed in the Super Bowl. Exposed! And they lost their pass rushers. They lost receivers. They had a good draft. They're still a great team, but their quarterback has proven that he is not a very good quarterback. So once somebody stops their running game, they're done. The only team that gets in our way that I worry about every year is the Seahawks. And you know why? Because they got Russell Wilson, and he's just like Kyler Murray.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
wrap you guys there on that. Oh man, that was fun to watch. That was fun.
It was a pleasure, Dylan, and I will whip some faith into your life about the Cardinals.
He's just gonna keep throwing it down your way, and I mean,
will.
really, as an audience, we'll let you decide. I mean, who won the argument? We'll let you guys decide, really. So, Dylan, I'm sure part of this comes from you just have a passion for football as well, right? So acting's one of your things, but football is too. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that and what you got going on in your life right now?
Okay, so like a couple months in February, I started my first tackle football season.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I played flag for like about 6 or 7 years. No, like 4 years before that, I played flag, and yeah, so it was my first tackle football season, and like I was getting so excited, and we only got to get 1 game in because of this coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing next season though with my friends, so that's gonna be good.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you feeling disappointed by that?
Yeah, but we have a pretty big grass area in our backyard, so we have a tackling dummy, and I pretty much use my brother as my tackling dummy too.
You know, I love that. I love that. You know,
I also use my brother.
I was about
as
to
a
say Joey
tackling
does the
dummy.
same thing to me. So
All the time.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's what makes me so sad, Dylan. So sad, because we both are so passionate about football, and you just can't get on board with me.
We'll see if he gets him around. We'll see if you get him around. So you've been practicing still, is that right, Dylan?
Yeah, because my brother plays for the Greenway tackle team.
So you both have that. So you like sort of get together and you spend time working on this together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that every single day?
Not every single day. Like, it's getting hot now.
Sure is, yeah.
Yeah, so we're probably not going to do it as much. We're probably just going to, like, just work out in the pool instead.
Gotcha. Why?
What?
Because it's
Why?
hot?
I don't know. What do you mean why? Like, why are we working out in the pool?
No. So here's what I heard, okay? So once it gets hotter, you're like, we probably won't do it as much, right? We won't do it because probably I'm assuming you do it more midday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like to flip your mindset on this.
Okay.
Because you love football. You want to get better at football. You want to grow at football. We'll talk about the pain stuff here in a minute. But right now, with that, if you really want it and you want to get better ahead of everybody else, here's what you have to do. You just got to get up earlier.
Mhm.
And you tell your brother the same thing. You go, hey, man, we want to get better at football. We want to level up and get ahead on everybody else. Because most people are going to say the same thing, Dylan. They're going to go, oh, it's too hot. Can't do it. But the people who level up are the ones who go, okay, I'm going to get up anyway. I'm just going to get up early enough so that I could do that. So it literally might be sun up, you know? I don't know what your backyard situation is, or lights are up, if it's like whatever the time is that you could do something. Maybe it's a little less because it is still hot at night or early in the morning, but it's way less, like way less. So you get up mega early, and then if you have to, you take a nap or something, but you get after it still, because it sounds like you're doing some good work. I was about to compliment you on that work, actually, because if this is something you care about and you're practicing right now and getting ahead, then you've now used this quarantine actually to grow in a big way, to be growing, because a lot of people on your team probably aren't. A lot of people on your team are just staying inside and avoiding that time, and you're going, all right, let me grow. I'll take it this way, like with the Cardinals and all the other teams, they're usually doing all sort of prep before their season, right? And doing all kinds of practices and certain things. They're not getting to do that. They're not getting to do those things. So the great players are doing, what do you think? What do you think they're doing at home?
Getting up early and working hard.
Yeah, conditioning. They're finding different ways to still condition themselves and make themselves better. And it will be evident on day one of football, when we get back to it, which players worked harder during this times and which ones like just hung out and did the bare minimum in that way. So I just wanted to take a moment to encourage you, because I thought it was so cool you guys were doing that, and just say, yeah, you could do workouts by the pool and do that, but probably a lot of people are doing that, and a lot of people aren't going, I love this so much. My brother loves this so much. Let's find a way to do something that nobody else is doing to get even better. What do you think about that?
Yeah, probably like a bunch of people on my team aren't as fortunate as us to have like the things that we do, and that we get to like get up and do stuff, and that we get to have all the things, and because it's gonna get hot soon, so we have to like prepare.
That's right. You do. You got to prepare and adapt. Prepare and adapt, Honestly, as Phoenicians, as people who live here in Arizona, we have been adapting forever. Every summer we adapt. We change everything. And everyone does, really. When we hit the different seasons, you adapt to that new season the way that you do things. Like, we're not going outside in the middle of the day in midsummer in Arizona and just hanging out with each other, going on a run. Like, it's dangerous, right? Yeah. We adapt for summer. So in the same way right now, we find ways to adapt to this new environment that's summer and the virus. How do we adapt to that? Adapt to those things. And adapting is exactly what I'm going to talk about with your pain stuff. Would you talk a little bit about that to our audience so I can fill them in?
Yeah, so about a year ago, just under a year ago, I woke up one morning and my the back of my heel was just hurting really, really bad. And I thought it was because the night before that I was practicing in the backyard football and just running, and I thought it was just sore, or I twisted it maybe. So I just brushed it off, and then about a month went by and it still hasn't got any better. And about 2 months into it, we went to the Core Institute. They gave me a boot to wear, and my foot didn't hurt in the boot. I thought it was working, but 2 months later when I took it off, it didn't do anything. So then after that we went to 3 more doctors. We had needling done in my foot, and then still didn't get any better. And then finally a little bit later it got better. It started going down and it was working, and then I had no pain for about a week, and then the next week a different part of my foot was hurting, and then that started hurting, and that still hasn't gone away still hurts today.
Sure. So tell me about the pain. Is it every day that the pain happens? Is it every once in a while? Is it after you work out?
So when I wake up, it doesn't hurt. If I walk around the house, it doesn't hurt. It's just like if I go on the trampoline or like run around, it just aggravates it and just starts hurting. And then like once I aggravate it and it starts hurting, then it hurts for like 2 more days, and then same thing.
Is it like, give me like a 1 to 10 scale of pain? Is it like way up there? Is it in the middle?
When like it's bad, it's probably like an 8, but that's when I like run really hard and just like try and push through it. But yeah, and but when I'm just like walking for too long, it's probably just like a 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay. Um, and this is just like an in and out. Like we don't know what it is, right? Yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's some encouragement, and I'll just speak on what I can, because I'll tell you right away I don't have the answers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now with this whole thing, that's one of the hardest parts of this for you, is you don't have the answers either. Like when you know what it is, it's like, okay, here's what I can do about that. I'll do this treatment for this long, and then we'll be good here. Or we won't be here, so I'll have to adapt there. And the hardest part right now is figuring out how to adapt, because you don't know what's going on. And so like when I was really sick the first time, I was 19 and I had no idea I had this whole Alps disease, no idea. And my whole life I'd been getting bloody noses and like things had been happening physically, and I just didn't know what it was and never like put anything to it until this really bad thing happened. And then it took them a whole month and they finally figured out what it was. And then once they knew what it was like, okay, there was a relief to that, of like, oh, okay, now I at least know what this is and I can be aware of it. So right now, the number one is going, okay, I know this is an unknown. So because of that, I'll monitor it the best I can. I'll grow the best way I can. But I trust that at some point, I'm sure, we'll figure this out. It doesn't need to be today. It doesn't need to be tomorrow. Keep thinking on it. Keep praying on it. And eventually, something will come where we figure out what this thing is. Medical technology is only advancing. It's only getting better and better and better. Like, I fully expect that at some point with me, my fingers and hands and toes, all that pain will go away. But I'll tell you, Dillon, right now, every single day I have pain. Almost every single day. And you probably wouldn't know it when I teach classes and when I do things. But most of the time, I have some sort of pain. So the battle with pain, when you don't have control over it, and it's something that's a constant, is mindset. Is like continuing to battle your mindset. And there's certain, and being honest, because there are certain times the pain's really bad and you need to just like rest it, not do some of the regular stuff you do, like take a little break physically. But you got to be really cautious about those breaks to not take a full-on break. So I'll give you a couple adjustments. So Matt recently hurt his knee. And when he did, like this, he had surgery a little while back and it started getting hurt again recently. So with that, he and Joey throw the football every day. They're big into football. We love throwing the football here. That's like our break. So instead of going for a coffee break, we go outside and throw the football. And they do especially. They run routes. Like, it's really fun to watch. And so Matt was really bummed because he wouldn't usually be able to throw and do things like that. Okay? So instead, he made the decision, no, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to bring a chair outside. I'm going to sit in the chair and I'm going to throw the ball to Joey. And I'm going to keep throwing the ball to Joey and I'm going to keep running my regular routine, even though I can't do it the way I'm used to doing it because I'm in so much pain right now. And today his pain was way less and he went out and threw a little bit. So he was walking and throwing, but he kept the idea of doing this thing that he loved. He kept the routine of it and just adjusted a little bit. He adjusted by allowing himself to sit in the chair. And I got to tell you, it was one of my favorite moments of watching them play football because it was cool. And it's a part of his story he'll never forget. So part of it is sort of figuring out ways, honestly, to adapt through this until you figure it out, just being aware of it and pushing yourself, but not pushing yourself too hard. I would start journaling about the pain. I would write a little journal specifically around that and your workouts and see what specific types of things you're doing that then lead to more pain. And figure out how can I do some of this stuff but not all of it. Because I'll tell you, Dillon, I love running. Love it. Yeah. Love running. I can't run. I can like a little bit, but barely before it starts to really hurt because I don't have my other brace yet. And I've been waiting for this brace and waiting for this brace. And this last week, there was an appointment to get the brace. I was like, yes. And Shay calls, and she's like, aren't you supposed to be at your appointment? And I go, yeah, they called me. It's not in yet. And it's going to be another 2 weeks. They called me a month ago, and it was ready. And the place that had it, because of the virus, shut down. So I've been dying for this brace for like a year. And so I take a moment, I'm like, oh, bummer. Cool, let's move on. Like, because I have no control over it, you know?
Yeah.
So if you go, okay, this is something right now, I don't know what it is. I don't have control over it. So let me just do what I can do. Let me learn to manage it really well in my life. I think it'll make a big difference for you. So I would start journaling it. I would literally go, all right, I went on the trampoline for X amount of time. Here's my pain level afterwards. Here's what that looked like. And you can then start adjusting your workouts, adjusting some of the things you do to keep yourself active, keep yourself going, and know what things are really going to push yourself and hurt you, and which things are going to just keep you active and keep you strong while you figure this thing out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just been like constant, like it was weird. It was like, so I was on the trampoline and it wasn't hurting. And then that same night I went out, played football, it started hurting. It was weird. And then the next day, like, I was expecting it to not hurt on the trampoline because it usually doesn't. And then I go on and then it hurts. So it's like different every day, and it's just confusing.
Dude, it's so confusing. And so honestly, with the journal, you may not be able to figure it out. It may not be. And then you look at that and go, gosh, it's just not being able to figure out. Or you really track it and go, maybe there was one thing I did during football where I took a route to the right. Or I did, like, I don't know what you did. Like, I did this one thing. Maybe it did that. And if the pain is one of those things that you can't manage in that way, then that comes back to just continuing your mindset, continuing to go, all right, this is a thing that I have to deal with now. So let's say best case, worst case scenario. Sometimes I like to look things and go, best case, worst case scenario. And Matt taught me this. Best case, worst case scenario. Worst case, pain never goes away, have it for the rest of my life. That most likely will not happen. It's not going to happen, but I prepare for the worst. Best case, this pain goes away and I go to the NFL. Awesome. Best case, worst case. Okay? So then you prepare for both cases. So worst case, this thing, let's say it never goes away and it's part of you. Okay? That's what's happened to me. Worst case, this is a part of me. So it might get better. We may find braces and things to help with, but these things aren't coming back. You know? Like, that's a worst case. Like, so I look at that and I go, all right, what can I do about it? What can I do? All right, I have to really battle my mind. When the pain comes, I do breathing exercises. I like breathe through, and you'd be surprised what just stopping for 30 minutes and like laying down and breathing would do for your body. Just nothing else. You're not allowed to think about anything else. You just do a breathing meditation where you lay down, you breathe, you pray, like you spend time just sort of letting your body rest, your whole body, your mind, your spirit, okay? There's that. And then every time, you start to feel the pain, you're aware of it, and you just like, you keep breathing through it, and you keep going like, hey, this is a part of me. I'm not going to let the pain win. And this is going to sound real silly, Dylan. It's going to sound real like hippie-esque, okay? Yeah. I want you to talk to the pain. I want you to talk to the foot and tell it no. It's not okay. I'm serious. It's not okay. So that's what one of my spiritual guides, his name's Paul, he told me to do. Because right now my kidney's being rejected. My kidney's being rejected by my body because it's understanding now, hey, that doesn't belong in there. Well, now I talk to it. I'll sing to it. I'll tell the kidney how great it is. I'll tell the antibodies to get out of there, that you don't belong. Like, those are the things attacking it. And I believe it's making a difference. I believe it. Because when I was in my coma, same thing, Dylan. Like, mindset. I believe that mindset was a huge part of how I got out of there. Mine and the people around me. I had so many people, Dylan, at that hospital room that they had to contain the amount of people in the room. Like 10 people at a time coming to visit, just talking positivity, talking love into my life. And that power, I remember it went into my dreams, and the people who were around me during my coma, the people who were talking to me and being positive to me, they were in my dreams. Your mind is always going, Dillon. Your subconscious mind goes when you sleep. It never shuts off. So if you keep telling that pain it's not going to win, hey, you don't belong here. You don't belong in my body. You don't belong here. You're going to start shifting your mindset, and the pain is going to lessen. It's still going to be there, but it's going to lessen, and you're telling it it doesn't belong in your body, and eventually I believe it will leave.
Mhm.
I know, sounds silly. Sounds like witchcraft a little bit, right? But I'm telling you, it works. It works.
Yeah, I'll try that. I mean, yeah, I've had like a bunch of injuries that lasted like a long time. Like before my foot started hurting, like my knee, it was my knee was the same exact thing. I had to get the same treatments done, needling. Yeah, it sucked. It wasn't good.
And how's
Like
your knee
they
now?
could, like put like needle my knee and then put electricity through it, and it did not feel good.
Dude, that stuff never feels good. Never, right?
And it didn't work either.
It didn't work?
No,
How's your knee now?
it's gone.
So it doesn't work.
Well, I mean, that was like at the very beginning of when it started hurting.
Gotcha. Okay. So we look back, and this stuff is starting to work in these ways, right? But none of that stuff is fun. But again, Dillon, you look into it, and certain things just suck. That just sucks, right? There's no way around it. Like, I lost my fingers and toes. That sucks. That sucks. You're having this pain in your foot. That sucks. So you go, man, that sucks. But can I do anything about it in this way? No, you can't. But there are things you can do. You can stay positive about it. You can have hope. So you and Joey talked Cardinals earlier, right? And that's also, I secretly wanted to bring this in. He was being super optimistic, Joey, right?
Yeah.
He is, but there's a lot of things to be optimistic about. But it's the choice. It's going, let me choose optimism. Let me choose to be optimistic about this. I believe that I'll be better on the other side. I believe that this thing is going to get healed up. I believe it's going to get figured out. I believe I'm going to be on the football field. There is power to speaking that stuff out loud. There's power to Joey going, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl. If enough people say that, like it could just happen purely because so many people are saying it, and the players are all lining up, and things are lining up. There's something to sending positivity out, right? Think of it this way, Dillon. I come in, right? And I tell you at the beginning of the show that you and Joey are going to riff. You start smiling like crazy, right? That big old smile came out, that Dillon smile. Here's the thing. I said something. I sent you energy. I sent you positivity. You received it, and your body responded. Do you realize that? That's all a smile is. I sent you something. I sent you energy. You received that energy, and your body reacted with a positive manner. Same thing with negativity. I say something negative to you. You respond negatively. And you pout, or you do whatever you do. You tense up. Our body reacts to those things that are being sent our way. So you send positivity to your body. Send it to your body. Believe it, but you have to believe it. You have to believe it because your body also knows when you're lying. So if you're like, get better, like it's not going to happen. You have to believe, honestly, truthfully, I'm going to get better the way that Joey believes we're going to the Super Bowl.
Because we doing it.
I mean, you see the passion in his eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That same passion I want you to have for yourself, Dillon. I want you to have it for you, for your acting, for whatever you want to achieve in life. I want you to have the passion to believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
Despite any circumstance. I'm huge on that. I'm huge on living a life outside of your circumstance. Because if you look at my life, I've been dealt all the wrong cards in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, physically. But I refuse to let those circumstances define who I am as a person and the goals that I have.
Yeah.
And I want you to do the same, Dillon.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tell me about you have an acting question too, right?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. So, let me get to it.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So it was how can I improve on my improv skills and feel more comfortable on stage?
Awesome. Okay, this is honestly this is going to go very close to what we just did. So,
Yeah.
what you're going to want to do, Dylan, when it comes to improv skills, I'll give you a few skills and pointers that you could be doing right now at home. But underneath that, what you have to do, and you've started to do it, you did it with your character this last week. I was blown away by your character this last 2 weeks in class. That character you created, who was the janitor, and he's like sitting in the chair a certain way, like you had a mannerism about you. Well, here's the deal. You're at home. You're in your comfort zone. You were totally comfortable, Dylan.
Mhm.
You were so comfortable. You were you. Going back to the whole football thing, you believed in you. You didn't care about what we as an audience thought. You didn't care about what anyone else thought. And if you did, you hit it really well. You just cared about having fun and being your character. You believed in yourself. You manifested it. You said, I love improv. This is fun. We're playing games together. Let's go. When
Yeah.
you did that, it was awesome to watch. I think what happens is you hit the stage and you lose your faith in yourself, you know? You start doubting, and so many of us do this. Like, we doubt our ideas. We doubt that we're going to come up with something on time. We doubt that it's going to be received or our character's going to be good enough. Well, in this virtual format, you just didn't care.
Yeah.
You said, I am great. I believe in myself. Let's have fun. All mindset. So when it comes to the stage, auditions for LA, auditions here, whatever you're doing, you got to just keep filling your mindset with positivity and saying, I am good enough. I'm great. I am great.
Yeah.
I'm amazing. And here's why. And then all of a sudden you walk in and those nerves are counteracted by all the positivity you filled yourself with.
Yeah.
So there's the answer on that. And then as far as exercises go, there's all kinds. It's just about carving out the time. So I know you're doing auditions already at home. You're doing the work you're doing in class with characters. So I say keep doing work every single day, but there are a few little exercises you can do, okay? So you know the top 5 exercise.
Mhm.
We've done that before. There are different variations that you can do to be working your mind to get quicker, which is I know where you really want to work on right now. And that's just taking a bowl, okay? It's like fish bowl or whatever, and you write out a bunch of just different locations. You pull it out. You don't know what the location's going to be because you've written out 20 of them. And then you time yourself to do top 5, literally. So you time it, and you try and beat your time. You try and get faster at coming up with this thing. That's one version of that. That's sort of the speed round. There's the creative version, okay, where you have to do top 5 things you would not find. Your mind's
Yeah.
automatically going to go to the things you would, and you've played these things, right? But
Yeah.
I doubt, are you playing them at home right now?
No.
Exactly. Do it, okay? You have a whole list of exercises, and I'd be happy to send you more, but I think you have quite a few already. But you have so many you could just be practicing. So it's about the discipline of going, I'm going to make that happen today. I have an audition. When you have an audition, you have to do the audition because you got to send in your audition by Wednesday or else you don't get the role, right?
Yeah.
There's no else to just practicing.
Mhm.
There's really not. So you have to set the or else to be, or else I'm going to fall behind, or else I'm not going to make it as an actor the way I want to, and I know you want to. And I'll close on this. I know you wanted to do movies and you want to do this stuff. Don't even focus on that stuff, Dylan. Don't focus on this. I have another student, Sam, who's in LA too, and he's going back and forth. He's been the last one in a bunch of LA auditions recently, and it was hard for him. That part was hard because you're like in the last 2, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a big deal in LA. So what I told him is don't focus on that. Don't focus on the idea here. And it was actually Matt who said that in the workshop to him. Don't focus on the thing, the gig, the movie, the whatever. Focus on I have to get better every day. It's a must. It's like the
Yeah.
football. I will wake up at 5 if I need to make my stuff happen with my brother with the tackling. I will work on my improv exercise warm-ups even if I don't have a class to warm up with. I will work on my scene work by writing it out. Like, if you do those things and say, I will because I want to be great, I want to be a great actor, you will be great. I want to be better than I was the day before, you will make that happen. And then guess what? You will land the movie when it comes, guaranteed. If it's right for you, you'll land it. And I believe, Dillon, you'll be extremely successful as long as you keep this mindset.
Yeah.
I got to say this last thing. I'm sorry. Joey's going to kill me. So this last one, it's about him, so maybe it'll be okay. Joey just finished masterclass, okay? So he and his partner have set themselves up now. The next masterclass is in like 3 months. They rehearse now every morning, 5:30 a.m. We have a busy schedule over here, so they wanted to rehearse, and Joey goes, yeah, I'd love to rehearse every single day. Because she goes, I want to rehearse every day. And he's like, great. Let's do 5:30. She's like, 5:30? He's like, yeah, 5:30. If we're going to do this, that's what's going to work. So they get up every morning at 5:30 in the morning and rehearse their scene for masterclass. That's not for another 3 months. There are very few. I would challenge to say that there are no other actors in masterclass that are doing that right now, the way that he is and his scene partner. And so when they get there, they're going to be a whole level ahead of everybody else because they've made the decision to do that. So in your acting, stop focusing on the gig. Stop focusing on the stuff you want. Just focus on, I'm going to be the best me as an actor every single day. I'm going to grow, and those things will just happen. They are going to have a phenomenal masterclass, and I cannot wait to see their scene because they did the work.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah, so I have I have self-tapes coming up, and like, yeah, I have like a script that I have to memorize, and it's pretty long, so I pretty much get up like, well, I pretty much like start memorizing it like at night, and then like memorize it the next night. Like after dinner, I just go to bed and then start memorizing it.
Good, man. Well, keep doing that. Keep working on that, and then, you finish that memorization, and then you go, all right, now let me get going on character. Let me get going on these other things that they don't have, and that's great with the self-tape. So there will come a time when you don't have a self-tape at certain points. That's when I want you to make sure that you're still grinding and doubling down. Because it's easier when there's a thing that you have to get to. I want to get this self-tape in, or I want to get this whatever. It's when those things aren't the case, and with improv, that happens to be the case. With improv, you're not preparing for a show right now, specifically. So it's easier to just fall off track a little. It's easier. So treat it as if you had a self-tape for improv every single day, the way that you do for film, and you'll see a massive change. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, this was great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so just wrapping us up here, the main takeaways for you are just to get after it with your work ethic. So make choices specifically in your mind. Dillon, my biggest challenge I'm throwing down to you is to do your best to battle your mindset.
Yeah.
I think your mind is going negative right now in different areas, and I want you to battle it. It's a friggin' war, man. It's a friggin' war, and I want you to fight the battle. I want you to get after it in every single day. No, it's an ongoing battle that is never ending, that negativity is always going to come my way, and I can battle against it. So next week, I'm going to check in with you and just find out how that battle's going. And so every day, just fight it, fight it, fight it. Talk to your feet and tell them that the pain doesn't belong there. Like, literally do things that you feel are silly, but keep yourself super positive. And let's see what that does to your week. I think you're going to have a massive change in your life.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dillon. I look forward to seeing you in class this week.
Yeah.
Woo.
All right. Thank you.
Love you, Dillon.
Bye. Cardinals are not making the Super Bowl.
Wait, that's not positive. All right. Thank you guys again for watching another episode of Teen Quarantine. Remember, we have power over our minds, and the mind is the greatest thing that we have. So keep working at, keep staying positive, and we will see you again tomorrow for another episode of Teen Quarantine.
Thanks for listening to Teen Quarantine. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, workshops, and private lessons, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.